fall of Rome. Wars in East Asia set off a chain of events, and nomadic people known as the Huns migrated to Europe. They crossed into Roman areas for safety. Under pressure, Rome surrendered to Great Britain, then France and Spain. In 738, Roman power was fading, and by 476, Rome had fallen for good. Clovis and Christianity. After the collapse of Rome, Western Europe entered a period of political, social, and economic decline. Franks were one of the Germanic tribes that conquered the Roman Empire. In 486, King Clovis conquered Gaul and converted to Christianity. He became the leader of the Christian Church of Rome. The Battle of Tours. A Muslim army crossed into France, and Charles Martel gathered Frankish warriors, and at the Battle of Tours in 732, Christian warriors won, and the Muslim advanced no further west, and the Christians thought it was a sign that God was on their side. Viking invasions. The Christians didn't expect an attack from the ocean. The Vikings came and attacked from oceans and rivers. They destroyed property and took money and food. Charlemagne's Empire. In 768, the grandson of Charles Martel became king of the Franks. He became known as Charlemagne, or Charles the Great. He was only in reign for 46 years. He fought many religions, including Muslims. In 799, Pope Leo III asked Charlemagne to defeat rebellious Romans. He strived to create a united Christian Europe. He also thought education was a way to unify his kingdom and brought many scholars to England. Peasant life. For most peasants, life was harsh. They weren't really allowed to have many belongings for themselves. They worked from sunup to sundown, and they worked in trade for protection from the king from outside sources. The Kings of England. Number 1, William the Conqueror. He became King of England on Christmas Day, 1066. His French army dominated England. The Anglo-Saxon population survived. These were the people who invaded England. Over the next 300 years, French and Anglo-Saxon cultures blended together. Number 2, King Henry II. He inherited the throne in 1154. He expanded customs into law. Decisions of the royal court became known as England's common law. He developed an early jury system. He had bitter disputes with the church. The king claimed the right to clergy, and the Archbishop Thomas Becket opposed this. In 1174, Henry's knights murdered the archbishop in his own cathedral. Then he denied ever being part of it. Number 3, King John. In 1205, John lost a war to Philip II and had to give up his land. He battled Pope Innocent III over a new Archbishop of Canterbury. He angered his nobles with taxes and abuses of power. In 1215, a group of rebellious barons cornered him and forced him to sign what is known as the Magna Carta. The feud between the Pope and the Emperor. In 1054, Henry IV was crowned Emperor and Gregory VII was Pope. Gregory's policies aroused hatred and contempt among people. His policies brought an angry response from Henry. In 1076, Gregory excommunicated Henry until Henry admits his sins. Henry took revenge on Gregory, and the struggle lasted 50 years until they compromised. The Crusades. The Crusades were a series of wars in which the Christians fought the Muslims for the land around them. They both wanted control over the land. The Christians wanted control over the Holy Land, which was Jerusalem, but the Muslims held control there. The Reconquista. The recapturing of Spain is called the Reconquista. In 1085, the Christians captured Toledo, and by 1300 they controlled the entire Iberian Peninsula except for Granada. The Black Death. In 1347, Genoese trading ships left the Black Sea port of Caffa to go to Messina. By mid-voyage, sailors were falling sick and dying. This disease was called the Black Death. In 1348, the disease spread to Spain and France, and 1 in 3 people were sick and died. The disease was caused by fleas and rats and eventually spread to human beings.